is Gilgeous-Alexander. McCollum staying with him. Spins, gets inside. Left-handed off the glass. Oh, what a sweet move.
Giddey, tough spot. Backdoor. What a pass. What a play. And J-Dub picks the pocket of Trae Young. He'll take it himself.
This is Dart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested podcast, coming to you live Sunday, June 23rd, the last podcast before the NBA draft coming this Wednesday. That would be the 26th, and we will be live right here on YouTube for the entirety of the first round of the NBA draft, just as we have been for the past 4 years. So come join the live stream, hang out with us. If you're at home, if you're at the bar, if you're at a watch party, wherever, pull up YouTube, hang out with us, get in the comments, get in the live chat, and let's have a good time Wednesday night for the NBA draft. It's going to be a blast. We will be live for quite a while. And then we'll do a reaction podcast afterwards. So ton of uncontested content coming your way Wednesday night. We are not doing a live stream for Thursday's second round.
Oh, come on. Damn it.
A, that happens at like 3 p.m.
Oh.
And B, I just don't care. We don't need a reaction to the Bronny James pick at 57. So, speaking of the draft live stream,
I thought you were going to say speaking of Bronny.
Not speaking of Bronny. And I'll introduce you guys in a second if they don't know who you are.
I love how
we are doing a
which
mock
is not
draft.
an actual pick, by the way.
Do what?
Of all the picks you could have picked, 57 is a forfeited pick.
Oh, really?
It's a good point.
Incredible.
The second to last,
Tampering.
Yeah.
We are doing a mock draft contest. So if you would like to participate for free to win from some free swag, if you're on the YouTube channel, scan this QR code. It will prompt you to download the Mockout app. So go ahead and do that. And then you can enter into our contest. A handful of people had already entered, but I messed that one up, so I deleted it. So if you already entered, do it again. Do it a second time. Your mock draft should already be saved. You just have to enter the contest and click upload my mock draft or whatever. Whoever wins, we are going to give out an uncontested swag pack to you. It'll have shirt, hat, stickers, etc. So, and it's totally free to join. So you might as well do it and have fun following the draft with your mock as we react to all the picks and all the trades live on the show. With all that being said, I'm your host for the night, Jacob Niffen. I got JD Silva with me tonight.
Fellas, really quick thing. I am working on a new intro, Sean, but I've been very busy since the Australian was traded earlier this week. But I wanted to ask you all, if there are any of your favorite, send me any of your favorite calls, any of your favorite plays. Just DM me on Twitter. My @'s under my name here. And you might see it in our intro. Just don't send me any that are of Josh Giddey, because that'd be weird.
Touche. Send him a Gordon Hayward one. We got Justin Peabody with us tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Nick Crane is here.
Draft week.
And we've got Taylor Peterson.
Yeah, I was going to say happy NBA draft week to everybody. Exciting.
Happy draft week to all who celebrate. Well, gentlemen, before we dive into the draft, trades, and other things that have happened, I want to let you guys know that we are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the best fast casual food in OKC, Dave's Hot Chicken and Spark. Speaking of Dave's, Taylor, JD, and I will be together in person for the draft coverage on Wednesday. We're going to be eating some Dave's chicken live on the show. So shout out to Dave's for sponsoring the draft show. It's going to be a blast. Hopefully they don't pack any Reaper tenders in that bad boy, so we don't have to call an ambulance.
I told you guys, they had the opportunity to the funniest thing ever.
I don't know if it'd be funny.
How many pickles can I eat on the live stream? We'll see.
A little JD Silva mukbang.
No!
You know how people put
Slice
like whenever they're
pickles, Nick.
relaxing, they put like cucumber slices over their eyes.
Yeah.
That's gonna
We're
be
gonna be at
Silva
pick
by the end
12,
of the
and
first
Silva's
round.
gonna have pickles on his eyes.
I strongly dislike pickles.
You ever had a
Me
sliced
too, Nick.
pickle from Dave's? It's really good.
I don't like pickles.
Agreed.
The smell of pickles grosses me out.
Yes,
Really?
Smell it a lot right next to you, buddy.
I've-
On Wednesday.
You're gonna be on the opposite side of me.
Oh boy.
What did you say?
Get ready to learn pickle, buddy.
Nope. I don't like that.
Do that.
I'm gonna eat some Dave's French fries. It's gonna be very tasty. Get some cheese on them. Throw some cheese on that.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Dang it.
Happy Sunday.
All right, we gotta focus and talk basketball. We're 6 minutes in.
Hey, that's better than we usually do. Oftentimes it's like 7.
Taylor's
Making
trying to get us
progress.
there.
We're almost there. You guys wanna talk
One
about
whole
Elbury?
minute. Should I just fill
40
30
more
seconds?
seconds.
No, we should not. Gentlemen, the OKC Thunder made a trade. They sent out Josh Giddey in a trade that surprised me. I have thought that the Josh Giddey trade was coming for a while. We've talked about it for months on this show. I didn't think it was coming pre-draft, though. Josh Giddey gets traded to the Chicago Bulls in return for the return of Alex Caruso to Oklahoma City. JD and I did an emergency pod breaking that one all down. If you have not listened to it yet, I would highly encourage you to go check it out. It was a great podcast. But these other three were not on it. So we need your reactions. What were your initial thoughts? Your gut reaction. What are your thoughts? What is it now? 3 days, 4 days later on the trade, the Caruso fit, etc. What do you guys got?
I think the trade being finalized as a 1-for-1 is probably like the biggest shock for me. I kept waiting after that initial notification and Oklahoma City will send blank picks to Chicago to complete the trade. And it never came. And I think for me that totally changed it. Like I was excited when the notification came in of the possibilities of Caruso, his fit on the team, like just seemed like a slam dunk, regardless of like what picks went out. And then the fact that there were none totally elevated it in my mind from what was already a great trade to something that was just like probably up there in terms of transactions that Presti has pulled off all time. There's a lot of unknowns. Caruso is 30. How long do they get of what we've seen? Like Caruso had a great season last season. There's no reason to expect he won't do that next season, but a lot can change in an offseason. You also have a looming extension. You would assume that some of those conversations, at least the waters have been tested of like, would you be interested in re-signing in Oklahoma City? And if he's like, absolutely not, then the trade probably doesn't happen. But there's only so far those conversations can go. But assuming he doesn't like combust in the next 4 months and he doesn't absolutely loathe Oklahoma City upon his return, then I'm feeling really good about this one.
I'll take a different lens to answer the question. At least in the segment of Twitter that I live in, the general consensus was Chicago got robbed.
To be fair, you basically live in Rockets Twitter. So
No. So I genuinely think this is a trade where like it works really well for both sides. Like I know initially Bulls fans are like freaking out, like didn't get a pick. The comparison was last deadline in like the last 18 months. There's been multiple first round pick offers and yada yada yada. While that might be true, we don't know if it is true. Like we know better than anybody.
Yeah.
Trade deadline, smoke and mirrors. Alex Caruso is worth multiple first round picks. Who's to say Chicago didn't leak that? I think he is, to be clear. Like he's a really, really good player. And that's a good data point to have on like how the league views him. We also don't know the quality of those picks. That could have been 2 lottery protected firsts. Like maybe not great first round. We don't know. All that to say, I don't love that being used as like the reason Chicago should have gotten picks from OKC. I think the 1-for-1 swap will be a good trade for both sides. Caruso is 30, ready to win now, and he fits the Thunder. Giddey is 21. He has this potentially big extension coming up that Chicago's messed it. That's the big thing. Chicago's got to be willing to deal with what could be a mess there. But Josh Giddey is going to be a good player. What's going to happen is he's going to put up really good numbers next season. And the whole conversation is going to shift to like, oh my gosh, Thunder going to regret this. Like he's putting up 19, 8, and 8. You have to think longer term. Chicago is going to go through the same phenomenon Oklahoma City did. Though it may work out better because he'll be older when this happens. When Josh has the ball in his hands, he's phenomenal. When stakes are lower, Josh is phenomenal. Like we saw him year 1 and 2. Like listen to our podcast if you don't believe me. We thought he was incredible. But as soon as the team elevated to a point where he had to learn how to play off ball, which isn't what he's good at, like the whole sentiment around him changes. He's going to go to Chicago now, have the ball in his hands a lot more. They're going to have to not build around him as their core piece, but they're going to have to build with him in mind. And if they can surround him with shooting and set up the roster in a way where when they are ready to be good one day, he can have the ball in his hands, it's going to be a phenomenal trade for them. I guarantee you. If the roster, he didn't have to be their best player, he didn't have to be their star or their centerpiece. But if he's like, think like throwback basketball, the point guard always has the ball in their hands. If they can play that style and Josh is the primary facilitator initiator when they're ready to be good again in 2 to 5, who knows how many years, this would be a great trade for them. So I guess my reaction to this was confusion around why it was Presti fleecing Chicago. Like, do I think the Thunder probably had more leverage? Yeah. They probably win the initial trade. Yeah. But like, I don't think this is a bad trade for Chicago at all. Like they got a 21-year-old that is going to be very, very good for a 30-year-old who's unexpiring as well. You know, I think it's a good trade for both sides. All that to say.
That was my initial reaction as well, but I was not surprised, Nick, like you were, to the reaction of NBA fandom, just because we know how NBA fandom works, right? It's all about recency bias and the big narratives. And so if you could get through all the off-court jokes and the replies of the trade, you eventually got to talking about or seeing people talk about how he was played off the floor in the second round of the playoffs. But I agree. I think my very first tweet I had was, oh my gosh, in all caps. And then my second one was something along the lines of, I actually love this fit for Josh Giddey. I think this is a really good fit for him and the Bulls. And so I agree with you there completely. It did surprise me, though. It was definitely out of left field. I, like Justin, kept thinking that, even being higher on Josh than maybe the consensus and somebody who's covered him and gotten to follow along with his career, I still thought there was going to be another pick or a pick swap or something of that nature, just based off the reports that we got about Caruso for Caruso and alongside Josh, just based off the reports we got about Caruso. But I think one thing you have to keep in mind as well, Nick, and you're right about that, that maybe, that was in the past, right? It's not necessarily recently, but he's an expiring contract coming up. So the Bulls lost a lot of leverage holding on to Caruso as long as they did. And I think they kind of had to, reap what they sowed at this point.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like that's the NBA where timing is everything. If Oklahoma City would have traded Josh this time last year, you could say all you got's Alex Caruso. A lot changes in a year for both teams.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I think Sam Vecini was on record saying that he had heard the current trade value from people he had talked to around the league was like for Alex Caruso was like a middle first round pick and then an additional second round pick. So
that's what Josh is worth probably too.
Right.
To my point, I think it's a great trade for both sides. I really do.
Yep. Like you said, I think the biggest thing for Josh is he should be able to get to play more his style. And he's a very excellent player when he gets to play his style. That was always the problem, is that he wasn't going to get to do that on the Thunder. It wasn't in the Thunder's as a team, their best interest to let Josh play in his preferred style. He should be able to do that in Chicago. So the numbers, like you said, he's probably going to go back to the triple-double machine at times. If I had to bet on it, that's what I would wager would happen. But that in no way, shape, or form would have happened in Oklahoma City.
No. It's all about the extension number. And when Chicago is playing games of circumstance again and has an actual roster around him, are they good enough to be a championship team with him being the primary ball handler? And the answer for that in Oklahoma City was no. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So I know we need to get to Caruso's fit overall with the team, but one parting Giddey thought. I wanted to pick each of your guys' brains on this. I found it very interesting and almost was equally surprised as I was for the trade when what was it, a day later, 2 days later, when the trade became official. Sam Presti came out in his announcement of the trade or whatever, and basically just laid it out word for word. This is what happened. We wanted Josh to come off the bench. He wasn't necessarily excited about that. Didn't think it was best for his career. He was super professional through all of it. And we each decided that was better if we parted ways and we could find the right opportunity, which we felt Alex Caruso was. Curious your all's thoughts and reactions when you saw Presti's media release come through. Like I'm not sure we've ever seen Presti be so transparent before.
I think it was refreshing, I guess, from Presti, because Presti has been really, really transparent at times, like before this rebuild started for OKC. And he also does the Presti thing where he'll talk for a long time without giving much detail at all. This was swinging back in the other direction, where he just told it exactly like it was. And I think he was comfortable doing that because of how strong the relationship was between Giddey and the organization. That's kind of my assumption, is that everyone wanted it to work, it seemed like, but it just didn't. And it was okay to admit that. It was very mature of everybody involved to just admit that. And it was refreshing to see. That way we're not left guessing what happened, what went wrong, who wanted to be traded, who didn't, anything like that. So we know what happened. We know where he's headed now. I don't think necessarily this was like the best fit for him as far as the current roster they have. Like, we talk about Josh being good with shooters around him. They don't have that right now. I do hope they make more moves to accommodate this and give him.
I think that's what it signals, is this is not the roster he's going to be around.
I hope that's true, because him starting next to Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan does not sound great. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the press release was interesting. Doesn't surprise me. There's some things about it I want to get into in a later segment, but kind of just circling the wagons here and getting back to the Caruso fit. You guys have all mentioned like the 1-for-1 straight up trade. And it's rare in the NBA that you see like, I have something good that doesn't fit me. You have something good that doesn't fit you. But if we flip-flop those things, they'd work really well. So let's just do the 1-for-1. It's rare you see that. You know, like, I agree with what you guys said. Josh Giddey, I think, is going to be a good player. It wasn't going to work here. And the things that the Thunder needed, especially in that Dallas series, is exactly what Caruso gives you. The defense, the connectivity, the shooting, the cutting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like it all fits. And to me, it's exactly what the Thunder needed. I mean, it'd be really badass if Caruso was 6'8", but I think it still fits like a glove. So let's talk about the Alex Caruso fit on this team a little bit. There he is right there. We got the photo of Alex.
So good. We need to get Jacob a Caruso jersey immediately.
Can we do like a
100%?
That's not what I want. That's not what I want either. We're going back to this.
Okay.
Amazing.
Hey, should the reward for winning the mock draft? Why do you keep blowing my face up?
Look, I didn't do it that time.
Who's doing this? Should the award for winning the mock draft contest be you get this image on a shirt?
Oh my gosh.
We get you a Jacob Caruso
I want Jacob
shirt.
to wear this shirt to Summer League.
Oh, dude, if you guys print it for me, I'll wear it.
For those who are not
Yes.
viewing the stream, this is a
Yes.
beautifully photoshopped image of Jacob on Caruso's body.
Hey, the goal is to be that jacked. That dude is ripped.
He is.
Let's talk the fit on the team, because we did a 3-week mini series on should they get a big or should they get a wing? Who's the 6'8" or taller guy that should be like the trade to come in and start? And they went and they traded for a combo guard. But I think the things that he does fit really, really well. So your guys' thought on the fit of Caruso with this team and what it could potentially mean for lineups, the rest of the roster, etc.
I still don't know what it means for specifically the starting lineup. Because let me know if you guys agree. I don't think you just swap Giddey for Caruso in the starting lineup and say we're good to go. I don't think you do that. So that just leads the trade. Love the trade. I think it makes the Thunder better defensively and offensively for the sake of just Caruso's better in that role of just catching and shooting. But it leaves me with a lot of questions that I'm sure we'll discuss throughout here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that lineup works. Maybe in situations, but as your go-to starting lineup, feels like it's too small. What I think about Caruso's fit, beyond schematics and X's and O's, my first memory of Caruso was sitting in Paycom, then Chesapeake Arena, watching March Madness when Texas A&M was playing the first 2 rounds in Oklahoma City. And they had, I'm going to butcher the numbers, but it was like they were down 13 with 42 seconds left or something like that and forced overtime and ended up winning that game. Do you guys remember that? It was insane.
13 with 42 seconds?
Yes.
Oh my
I'm going to Google it now.
I don't remember this.
I don't remember that at all.
Should.
Hang on. No, because it was nuts. You had angry A&M fans storming out. It was beautiful. They were down 12 with 44.3 seconds left.
Oh my gosh.
To beat Northern Iowa.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. 2016? I feel like, wow, that doesn't feel that long ago.
And Caruso was just a madman in that game. I am not drunk, Sean. That is a thing that happened. Go look up the videos.
It is.
It was the last. What I also remember about it is it was the last game of the day. So you've been in this arena. I hadn't moved in 9 hours.
Was the Time Lord on that team?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway,
Maybe it was the year after. Anyway,
he was just, Caruso was a madman. His motor, the dog, it was all there. It was just this guy is just running circles around everybody else on the court. Now the comeback was not all him or anything like that, but his energy was insane. And I think that's 100% translated. I think he always seemed like a guy you don't know how it's going to translate to the NBA. So his path through the G League was not surprising coming out of college. But once he found his spot and once he developed, he's been everything that's promised. And I think what he's been since he left LA was what LA fans thought he was in LA. And I think getting to bring that onto this Thunder team, that dog is going to fit right in. That mentality, that aggressiveness, the drive, the motor, it's a perfect fit. So like I said, outside of schematics, just the drive, you totally see why Presti loves him. He loves those types of players.
He's a cultural fit.
He's a cultural fit. Yeah. He's gonna be the first one barking in the post-game interviews next year.
I think Presti in his media availability said something like Caruso will go out and try to kick you a 30-yard game-winning field goal. He'll defend the best player on the other team on the basketball court. He'll run around with a tennis racket, and he'll try to kick your ass in cards.
Yeah.
He says he's the ultimate competitor.
I love that. And honestly, I think that's the thing that stands out the most to me, and that kind of settled in once all the craziness of the trade had kind of settled down and we realized it was just a player for player swap. I just got immediately excited because the Thunder, who were the 4th ranked defense last year in the entire league, one of the youngest teams in the league, had the 4th ranked defense, and they just had a 2-time All-NBA, all defensive NBA team selection who shot nearly 41% from 3 last year. That's insane. I know those attempts are limited. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this as well. When I'm thinking about his fit with this iteration of the Thunder team, I feel like those shot attempts are going to go up, and we probably see that percentage go down just a little bit. but I would like to see that. I think I want to see him shooting the ball more, especially if this is the starting lineup we end up with. And sorry, Nick, go ahead.
You said the attempts were low.
Weren't
He
they
shot
like
5 a game last year. How many do you want him to shoot?
I was thinking it was like 3 point something.
No, it was a
He
lot.
shot 5 attempts from 3, but only 7.6 from the field, which I love.
Yeah.
And I think
I
the
think that
attempts
fits
stay
well.
about the same.
Yeah, I think
the attempts stay about the same.
Maybe what Taylor's getting at, I think a lot of the discourse has been around Caruso's defense, and very much deservedly so. The dude's back-to-back all defense. The offense is just as good, but like in the weirdest way. What stuck out to me when looking at Caruso's numbers, let's do an exercise here. Last season, his offensive win shares is 2 something. Let me pull it up. 2.3. It's different because it's 2 different teams, and like there's more win shares to go around, if you will, based on distribution. Where would 2.3 offensive win shares put him on the Thunder last year?
Third.
Jacob looks like he's Googling hard, so he can't answer.
No, I'm editing our,
He's locked
our
in.
outline. We're good.
Okay.
Second.
Absolutely not listening right now.
It was 4th. It would have been 4th behind, you guessed it, Shea, Chet, J-Dub. Shea was 10.5. Chet was 4.6. Jalen Williams was 4.5. But the reason I bring that up,
crazy.
like it's super interesting that he'd be like the 4th best offensive.
Where did that?
impact.
Where was he on the Bulls in that pecking order?
It's a good
of
question. I'll
curiosity.
get there. I'll look at that in 1 sec. But
It's not important. We can
the
move on.
the
It's
relative
probably second.
the relative
Yeah.
data point that like just like blew my mind was his usage was 14.7. Where do you think that would have ranked in the Thunder's pecking order last year?
7th. No, 6th.
5th.
I'm not going to price and.
I was
price
just
and
about
right
to say,
this.
$1,
we're
Bob.
in the ballpark.
Somewhere.
So there was, it's hard. I'm not going to like pick names of who was here and who wasn't here. 22 guys played a minute for the Thunder last year. Like their roster effectively was 22 guys. He would have been 15th in usage.
Oh my god!
So
Gosh, that's
14.7 usage percentage is in the same ballpark as like Poku was 15, Jay Will was 13.5, Kenrich was 13.4, Hayward was 13.4. Like that's the ballpark of like usage.
crazy.
Hayward wasn't
that he's
0?
in. That's the ballpark of usage he was in, and he would have been the Thunder's 4th most impactful offensive player based on that one metric. There's other offensive metrics you could go off of, but point being, like he gets praise for the defense, but the dude is going to elevate this offense. It was already really damn good.
Interesting.
Totally agree with you, Nick, but the defense is just so much fun to think about. I think about
Also,
if you subbed him out for Giddey in that Dallas series, he guards Kyrie, Dort guards Doncic. That lets you slide Dub over to PJ Washington. I mean, they're just going to beat the ever-loving shit out of you. The point of the point of attack defense now might be the best in the NBA.
It's up there for sure.
he's also extremely explosive. Like you see the highlight reels and they're all a bunch of these like crazy dunks, even back to his days with the OKC Blue. I know the Blue put out a highlight reel here a couple days ago, which is pretty cool of him playing with them. But like, I think about this team playing in transition and Alex being the, like you said, Jacob, point of attack on defense and being able to get those steals and deflections leading to the Thunder playing in transition, or he's able to get out on the wing when a Shea or a Dub or a Dort, whoever it may be, gets those deflections. And he's already down the court going for like these like highlight reel slam dunks. And then you have him cutting back door in like that Wiggins role that we talk so much about, or Isaiah Joe, who's great at finding those spots, cutting off ball, moving off ball to be able to create more motion offensively and leading to more of those opportunities at the rim. I think he's going to provide a lot more than just the shooting and the defense, kind of like what Nick was alluding to. There's going to be some fun highlight reels. I think that we'll see with Caruso, and it's going to make for a really fun brand of basketball for the OKC Thunder.
Totally agree.
Does Kenrich lose like all of his minutes with Caruso on the team now? I feel like they play a similar style, but Caruso just does it much better. Maybe Kenrich can grow a couple inches and then really start playing backup center.
It's a good point.
Kenrich on this team next year?
I don't know.
Let's answer that on the other side of this break. We'll be right back. And we are back. Before we talk a little more Caruso trade and what's next for the Thunder, it's time for the hot take of the week.
The East Hollywood pop-up sensation turned fast casual superstar Dave's Hot Chicken is bringing the heat to Oklahoma and Bricktown, Edmond, and now open in Chisholm Creek. Their mouth-watering sliders and tenders are offered at 7 spice levels, ranging from no spice to Reaper, which requires a signed waiver for those who dare. Each piece of hand-breaded chicken is spiced to order using a blend crafted specifically for its heat level or no spice at all, along with sides of house-made kale slaw, creamy mac and cheese, and crispy seasoned fries. Visit Dave's Hot Chicken at any of their 3 metro locations, especially if you do so before the draft. You can eat it along with us while we see who the Thunder are going to pick.
I absolutely cannot wait to eat my Dave's Hot Chicken on draft night. Looking forward to it. Gentlemen, hot takes. We have been doing thematic hot takes. No theme tonight. It's all up to you. Whatever take you got, fire it off.
All right. Here's mine.
The nervous laughter makes me excited.
I know. That's why
The Thunder will leave the draft with 4 less picks than they had going into it.
4 less.
Wow.
Reaper.
Woo.
I had 3 written down, but I scratched it out and put 4 right above it. See that?
I like how that's the only thing written on that paper.
Just about
There's
to
no
say.
stats and numbers, and
No,
this son of a bitch got a giant piece of paper to write 5 words.
it's
That
all
looked
ball.
like a cartoon prop.
You know,
And
I'm a
he
real
scratched
ball
one. He scratched one of them
3.
out and changed it.
I'm going Reaper as well.
Damn it.
That feels like a lot.
Maybe it's
That does
time.
feel like a lot. That means we're what kind of a trade are we making there, Silva? Right, multiple trades are you thinking, or is it like a PG Kevin Durant trade?
Just one cannonball of a trade.
I like it. I like it.
Love
a lot.
it.
I'll go next.
Okay.
My hot take is that the Uncontested goes 2 for 2 on blind NBA draft eval podcasts after successfully picking
Ooh.
Case and Wallace last year. OKC drafts Deron Holmes.
Medium, because I have faith in us, Justin. You and I.
Yeah.
I also got bit by a dog that night, so
How's your arm, by the way?
I'm healing. Oh, you can't see it there. You can't see it
Good.
there either.
You
Had
got
to
a
get a
tetanus
damn
shot.
Tetanus shot.
Got antibiotics. Everything's fine.
Bitch is lucky I didn't bite her back.
I need that.
Now I
clipped.
kind of wish that would have happened on the
What the-
stream.
I'll
Yeah,
give you
JD, that was at 33:30. You want to rip that?
yeah.
Amazing. Jacob, I think you're about to, it's sorry, we haven't all gone through. I think I'd go medium as well, just because I think like a Deron
Medium.
Holmes is a pretty, I don't know. It wouldn't be super surprising based off all the hype Deron Holmes has been getting.
I'm gonna go.
Maybe I'm taking that too specific. Maybe your overall premise of that was it'll be a player that we haven't really touched on a lot,
I mean, that always feels like a safe bet with Presti.
which
Gonna
probably
go-
still a medium.
hot, extra hot, kind of on the border. Probably more hot. Not because I don't think Deron Holmes would be a great player in OKC or he might not be the pick. More because like
The odds.
picking the guy at 12.
The odds are
or
against us.
they trade back or they trade up or they trade out. Like picking the guy, if that's takes so long.
Poor Nick missed the.
if that is the guy, I sure as hell hope Justin put that in Vegas because you probably get really dang good odds to nail the player to the team.
Should have done a parlay. Case and Wallace, and then Deron Holmes.
Can you imagine?
Bet $1
We'd
and
be
win
millionaires.
$5 million.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
Deron Statistics Holmes.
I'm gonna make a shirt.
Yes,
That is a shirt idea.
I love it.
I'm going with my hot take is the Thunder. Mine's maybe kind of lame. Silva let us off like scorching. Like mine is the Thunder do not get a player at 12.
Mild.
Did they
Wait,
get something else at 12?
it was what?
The Thunder
Elaborate.
do not select a player at 12. Maybe they traded up, maybe they traded out, maybe they traded down, but they are not making a pick at spot number 12 in the draft. Or if they do, they're making it for somebody else.
And somebody said mild.
I said mild.
Why?
Because again,
That's
the
another
odds.
statistical Holmes.
Exactly. Like the odds of them picking literally anywhere else other than 12,
I wish I
feel
had
like
this
is
pulled up.
I don't actually
pretty
know
high.
if that's true. Like Presti specifically trades in almost every draft.
great.
But if you look at the average pick, I would guess, I don't know, 70% of them get made by the team that are in that spot.
But how many of the Thunder's picks?
There's been trades, but it's not always like there's been multiple picks to be traded. I don't know. I don't think it's mild. I don't think it's like Reaper extra hot, but mild is kind of wild.
Mild is
wild
wild,
for-
baby. Getting wild for that mild.
I'll go at least medium here.
I'm going
Wow,
medium.
what a stretch. He just went on a rant for me picking mild, and then he picks the one right above it.
Our scale.
I can't
that I'm
believe
looking-
you said mild.
No. Now that I'm looking at
It's
it,
medium.
I forget we have no spice and light mild and then mild and then
My
medium. I was thinking you had it as like
Come
100% chance that happens. Okay, I see what you're saying now. We're not far off.
Unbelievable.
Love it.
I would say medium just because of the I mean, it takes two teams to do a trade. I think if we're up to Sam Presti, he probably would make a deal happen, but I'll go medium, just play it safe.
All right, who's next?
I have what I feel like it's a pretty spicy one.
No spice.
I'm not sure I completely believe it, but it's good for this segment anyways. The Atlanta Hawks are not the ones who end up making the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft on Wednesday.
That ain't hot.
What?
brother.
Give me extra hot. Back to Nick's rant. 70% of teams probably make their pick on the clock. The number 1 pick, regardless of what type of draft it is, typically make the number 1 pick. The last time we had the number 1 pick traded was for Markelle Fultz. What a trade, by the way.
What a
Holy
time.
shit. That aged terribly. The number 1 pick very, very, very rarely gets traded. But this draft also is just like not great at the top, and there's so many directions you could go. Maybe the Hawks get intel that they could get their guy at 3 or 4, and so they trade the pick. But I'm still going extra hot.
Clean.
I don't think it's even the draft. I think the Hawks, as we sit here on June 23rd, don't know who they want to draft.
Anthony Bennett, baby.
That's what makes me think they may
Agreed.
actually trade the pick. It's like it's much less pressure if you trade back, get an asset, and flop the 3rd overall pick versus keeping 1 and flopping it. Like these people are thinking about their jobs here.
That's
If I'm
fair.
the Hawks and I'm sitting here and I still am like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm probably really considering trading back and hedging myself.
Is it the same GM that traded Luka for Trae Young? Same guy?
Landry
Oh, different guy. At
Fields.
this point, I
Yeah, I
think.
don't think Landry was there at that
Okay.
time.
Yeah, you don't want
I don't
that looming
think-
over you. I'd probably go hot on this one. I just also think there's a chance they take like Ricochet at 1 and he's not good, or is not good for many years, and everyone just points and laughs.
If I was a betting man, and I might be, I still have the Hawks taking Ricochet at number 1.
Like I
never made
say,
a parlay
and
in
I
my
am on
life.
occasion.
I will point and laugh.
I've never made a parlay in my life.
What's your take, Nick?
I'm gonna do something a little different.
He's on Google right now, just looking up hot takes.
Chat GPT, give me a hot take.
Please give me a hot take.
It's better than JD's freaking notepad.
Notepad. Long live the notepad.
June 30th at 5 hour time is the start of free agency.
Oh, thought you were about to drop like a Nostradamus time on.
No. 5 p.m. our time, June 30th. Okay. By 11:59 on June 30th. So on the actual day, June 30th, Central Time, Oklahoma City will sign a free agent, be it their own or external, by the time the calendar flips to the next day. The Thunder will have signed a free agent.
Mild.
Who is it, Jacob?
That's
That's not part of the game, Nick.
I'm asking you a question.
I understand that. I don't know. Aaron
the
Wiggins.
fact that you opened it up to someone else or their own, I think decreases the heat on this one a little bit.
Because Wiggins would
Fair.
count, right? In this,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because he'd be declined, and what? Okay, so give me the heat level if I said external.
Oh,
I'd say
hot.
extra hot.
Yeah,
I
extra
would
hot.
say
I don't think
Avs
they
gonna
get
go
one of
extra
those
hot.
those
They
really.
They
might.
had like 3 signings on the opening night last year. Like
Did
the
they?
Victor Oladipo one happened on opening night. Who was the other guy they took in?
That was a trade.
Oh yeah, never mind. You're right.
It's like, wait,
Sorry.
Like, when did they sign
We didn't
Oladipo
extend
in
them,
free
yeah.
agency?
Sorry.
What a move,
Sorry.
Sam.
Sorry. I stand corrected. I'll go from mild to medium.
Thank you. One step up the rung, baby.
We're gonna go sign Jack White's brother. From day
What's his
one.
Who
brother's
might
name?
that be?
Jack Black.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah. I got Nick there.
So I had that one written down on the notepad.
I was just getting bit by a dog. Don't mind me.
So we need to write Jack Black on the notepad. Just keep writing stuff on the notepad till the end of the show, please. I like that there weren't previous hot takes on that notepad either. Just
No.
Fresh-
Just
a
one.
fresh sheet. That's like how my children use pieces of paper.
Well,
They can go get a fresh piece and draw
This-
like one
there's
line.
a lot of pages that have been filled out.
Let's
You know
see
what?
him.
Is that like a
We don't need to go through
Do list
Silva's
here?
work notes.
okay?
Okay.
If you want to enhance your character on this pod, I think the addition of a whiteboard behind you where you can jot down notes and timestamps that the readers can see would be sick.
That would be sick.
Oh, I kind of love that idea.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
about
we'll
to move.
see you
so,
next
I mean,
week.
That can be.
We can make this
There you
happen.
go.
I like it.
A little redecorating.
Yep.
Should I get a whiteboard for Silva for Wednesday night?
Yes.
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 That
do
would be
that.
so cool.
I'll be like,
You
All
have
right,
Professor
Professor
write down
Silva.
each pick.
I'll be like Bobby Marks.
JD and the D is for dry erase, baby. Let's go.
All right. Enough for the hot takes tonight. Let's get back to some Caruso stuff. This might be a long show, guys. I'm going to try to speed run us here. In Presti's press release, and then again in his press conference, I'm not going to quote it verbatim because I don't have it pulled up, but he said that in order to maximize Josh Giddey's abilities and the team, they approached him with the idea of coming off the bench. Josh, what was the line? Struggled to see that vision or something like that is what they said. And that is when they decided to jointly to start exploring a trade. I find that interesting because if they were moving Josh to the bench, that means you are moving somebody else into the starting lineup. When I look at the roster as currently constructed or as constructed 3 days ago before the Caruso trade, I don't see who the fifth starter would be. I don't think it would be Isaiah Joe. I think that was a stopgap for the playoffs. The way I interpreted that, reading between the lines, was we were going to move Josh to the bench and go and get our starter in free agency or in a trade.
Or in draft.
The draft would be pretty surprising for them to draft and start a guy this year, though, right?
It's really weird because they had 2 rookies that were top 6 rotation players last year, Jacob.
Well, for sure, but I mean,
I would
what
not
are
be
the odds
shocked.
that you get an
I would
A1?
not. I would not be shocked if there was a rookie starting on this team next year.
Wow. Okay.
That's the right guy.
Okay. So when I saw that, my assumption was they were planning on going out and getting their starter. Then they traded their 21-year-old for a 30-year-old win now guy. In my eyes, Caruso is going to come off the bench. What you were going to give the Josh Giddey role on the bench, you now give that role instead of to Josh Giddey, you give it to Caruso. You expended none of your assets to go get Caruso. You still have the $33 million in cap space. You still have the 15 first-round draft picks. You still have 12 in this draft. So my question to you guys, and maybe we make this into an exercise. If they are going to go out and get somebody in a trade or in free agency, how good does that player have to be for you to think, yeah, that guy is starting over Caruso? Like instead of just plugging Caruso in for Josh, they're going to start this guy. How good of a player does that have to be? And I think maybe we go through some names.
You want me to just throw one out?
Sure. Like we can just list names and we can say, yeah, that guy would start, or no, they would start Caruso. I mean, we can do it however you guys want. I think it's interesting. And I think Caruso is going to come off the bench and they're going to get their starting power forward still.
That's I guess where I was hesitating with your question a little bit is it. I think that's where my head went, was not necessarily that it's another guard replacement, but that it would be a power forward, or that it would be a different position, and that the kind of structure of the starting lineup looks a little bit different.
And I think,
I think it would definitely have to be a forward, like just kind of where I'm at.
Well, and it goes back to the exercise that we did, the 3-part series here 2 weeks ago, going through the wings, the bigs, and then like the dream fit scenarios, right? And I think if we're talking about what archetype of player, before we get into specific names, the player that you would bring in who would start over a Caruso, you're thinking about somebody who obviously has a little more height and size, can rebound, is versatile on ball, and is able to space the floor and also defend on the other end of the floor, push the ball in transition some, basically what every NBA team is looking for.
Even that's more than that, though, Taylor, like Presti's media availability. I said the quote earlier about how like Alex will even try to kick your ass in cards. Like that was a Presti quote. And he said, these level of competitors, and this was a direct quote, I want to get them in the door by any means necessary.
That stood out to me as well.
To me, it doesn't matter. Can you push in transition? Can you rebound? He just wants a guy that's got that dog in him. Like he wants the ultimate competitor, regardless of how that looks.
So this is a good opportunity to bring up another quote that really stood out to me from Presti's availability when we're looking and trying to name specific players to come in and potentially start over at Caruso. He mentioned, or Presti mentioned, effectiveness over size in regards to defending. So that gave me a little hesitation because I was listening to you and Silva, Jacob, when you guys did the emergency podcast, and you both had the same reaction I did, that I thought another trade was imminent to get that starting forward. But I don't think they're going to panic and just try and bring somebody in because of that quote that Presti had. Really kind of stood out to me, that they look for that effectiveness rather than the actual size of a defender. And so we could see Caruso start. But that being said, I think there are other options. So I'm kind of excited to get into some of those names.
Let me just kick us off. If they made a trade for Dorian Finney-Smith, is he coming in and starting instead of Alex Caruso?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, by position, he kind of has to. I just don't know if this team cares that much who starts. I think it's the minutes distribution and the close. I think we all would agree with that. I think positionally we kind of have to.
What about a Robert Williams III?
Assuming his knees work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And can stay healthy. I would think he would start, but I still would agree with Nick that we probably see Caruso close and play more minutes with the starters than a Robert Williams.
Yeah, I mean, if Rob is healthy, to Silva's point, like he was hugely impactful on a Celtics team in the finals last time we saw him healthy. So yeah, if he's healthy, he's starting for sure. There's not even a question over Caruso.
Interesting. Okay. So what are some other names that are closer to a question? Torrey Craig?
I start Caruso over him easy. Cam Johnson is kind of the big one that I've thought about for a while.
Either he's starting.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. What about Jarris Walker?
I was gonna say Jarris.
All right, we're all gonna go on
Jarris-
mute now, and Jacob's gonna go on a rant. Let's go.
Let me get my notepad real quick. Um,
Jarris and Denny.
Just says Jacob Hart's Jarris on every
Yes.
line.
see, as much as I want Jarris, the Giddey trade makes me think that wouldn't be appetizing to them.
Interesting.
They went and traded for a 30-year-old. Like Jarris, I still think needs some runway. I don't know.
I
if
don't
they're
think that's a
into,
disqualifier.
I think it is for starting. I don't know if Jarris would start. God, I think he'd be so freaking good on this team, dude.
Agreed.
What
I
about
would give up-
Denny?
Don't even get me started.
I'm
Lord
just hitting
have
all,
mercy.
all of Jacob's hot buttons.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Does Denny have the requisite dog?
That I don't know.
I have
Yo,
no
for
idea.
sure.
You
Denny,
think so?
Denny is. Oh my god, dude! Go watch Denny play defense, and it's like
I think he's awesome.
He's not. I don't think he's that much better of an athlete compared to Josh. There's like components, like laterally, I think he has an edge on Josh. He's got a little more pop, but like athleticism goes a lot more than that. He's not that much better of an athlete than Josh. He just gives the effort and has the dog, and it's like he's known as a good defensive player. If to switch names, if you guys are asking me who are some guys that are like a real conversation of like Caruso or this guy, I'm thinking like Isaiah Stewart, Onyeka Okongwu, John Isaac, I think, is one that's an automatic starter that was brought up in the last pod.
Kuzma?
Those are all trade guys.
Kuzma's a good one.
Kuzma starts.
Somebody Nick likes.
Easy.
Patrick Williams,
Tobias Harris.
Oh God!
Oh.
If they sign
That's a good one
Tobias
too,
Harris
Jacob. Where
in free
it's like a
agency,
conversation.
yeah. If they sign Tobias Harris in free agency, I might. I don't know why, but I've always had this knife sitting right here. I might
Okay.
commit seppuku live on the show.
Whoa.
Let me challenge you to that, Jacob. Though let me challenge you.
Challenge me to commit seppuku. I'm ready. Let's go.
Shit.
No. I'm
I don't
very
know
much,
why, but I've always had this.
We compare every player's performance to what they're paid. And was Tobias Harris hugely underwhelming relative to his max? For damn sure. Do I think Tobias Harris is a phenomenal player? Not really. But if you could get him, and I don't think you could get him for this amount, 12 to 15 mil. Oh my gosh, these comments are insane. If you could get Tobias Harris for 12 to 15 mil, I don't think that's a bad signing. I think the Tobias Harris slander comes relative to his contract. And now
You're
Jacob
right
can't
about
even
that.
answer my question because
I
he's
know.
I'm
The
sorry.
You're right
comments
about that,
are-
Nick. I
freaking
just
out
think
about
he's
the
going to be
comments.
paid a lot more. I think.
I know, I agree. I don't think you can get him for 12 to 15. But Jacob's
Yeah,
point of
right.
like, I don't want Tobias Harris. I don't want Tobias Harris on a max contract or a 20 plus mil contract. But if for whatever reason you can get him 12 to 15, and that's, a small percentage of the cap, he's phenomenal at that figure.
Yeah.
Size.
I like an Isaiah Stewart
forward.
because he costs like nothing.
Yeah.
What about a Jalen Smith?
That's another one that's like one of those kind of like Isaiah Stewart and Okongwu. It's like you could make a case for them starting, but would they? I don't know.
Right. It's another one that makes me think they will start, but Caruso still gets the most minutes at the end of the game.
So I tried to go back over our list from the 3-part series and canvas the league for a wing / big forward who I really thought just has that dog, wants to compete and play their ass off. It's not going to happen. And he's a little small. But Mikal Bridges just fits the bill perfectly. I mean, just absolutely fits the bill.
That would be, ideal scenario. Like you said, I don't think that happens, but feels like a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And not to get us too far down the rabbit hole here, but we had the KD conversation.
Yeah. Yeah,
with some of the
you
news,
see,
with some of the news that's coming recently, should we have the PG conversation?
that's what I was just about to say. Like, you see both those narratives, the KD and the PG, like homecoming stories. They would both be bizarre in their own ways.
It'd be so
The
weird.
PG
Like, what
one
if-
would be,
It would be weird.
absolutely insane, just because
You
of
got
the
the draft
baggage of the Shea trade and how all the draft picks
But
came
here's
into
the
Oklahoma
thing: like,
City's
what if
possession.
PG tells the Clippers, like, "Hey, I'm planning on opting out and like signing with Philly in free agency," and then the Thunder contact them and say, "Hey, if you can get PG to opt in, if he walks, you get nothing.
Yep.
If he opts in and trades to us, like, we're not giving you the bag, but we'll give you some stuff to send him here, which is way more than you're getting if he walks."
Yep.
And he would have to agree to that. But he said on his
Yep.
own podcast the other day,
Yep.
it's got to be the right basketball fit. I struggle to see a cleaner fit for him.
You telling me Paul
You're right.
George is the point of leverage for the Thunder to rake the Clippers over the coals in a trade again?
Again.
Could you imagine?
A second time?
And
Insane.
those picks would become so much more valuable if you're able to hold on to
I
even
bet
just
they asked.
one
I
or
bet they asked
two
for
of
those
them.
picks back.
That,
But if it's like-
absolutely.
If it's like you give them their own picks back, which how much do they have left? 2?
No,
Two.
you're not giving. No.
Right.
I don't think so
No.
either. What if it's
No.
For a
one?
year of PG.
What if it's if he agrees to, but part of the trade would have to be like you sign and extend like immediately.
I'm not sure that matters.
And I don't think
Historically
PG signs
speaking.
off on it
Yeah.
That's true.
if that's the case. It's interesting though. It's very
It's
interesting.
bizarre that that's like a not totally fictitious conversation.
Yeah. Mark
I'm not
Stein,
saying
uh,
that it's
one
gonna
would surprise
happen,
me
but-
less than the KD one at this point. I think.
yeah.
If we're discussing trades of that caliber, why aren't we discussing Lowry more?
I don't think
Because
Utah's
they're not
moving
in a
off of him.
situation where they have to think about trading him.
Yeah, they're not in a high leverage. I mean, Phoenix sucks,
Mhm.
and Phoenix is fricked for the next decade. The Clippers are also kind of fricked.
Yeah.
Like Utah has a lot of stuff in front of them. I don't think Utah is
Yeah.
nearly in this situation.
I
Does-
imagine a Danny Ainge, Sam Presti trade would take, I'm not exaggerating, probably 2 full seasons to actually come to fruition. By the time they finally
Yeah.
get to whatever, I can only imagine what those negotiations will be like.
Does the recent playoffs not reignite a viewpoint of roster building where the regular season doesn't matter all that much? Reason I say that, two reasons. One, there's a lot of guys that are being floated on Twitter and everywhere else that are like, go sign this guy. He'd be an awesome third string this, or like an awesome backup this. And like in the playoffs might not matter. Paul George, the reason I bring it up at this moment is like, if that's your guy and you're not confident he's going to be healthy in the playoffs, is he your guy?
It's fair.
That's like every, like the lens of trades, draft, and free agency at this point. I'm no longer looking at like, what does he do for you in the regular season? Because this team's good enough to get to the playoffs. And seeding is great and home court matters. But what we saw in the playoffs last year was like the Mavs were the 5th seed going to the finals. That doesn't happen every year, to be clear. But what can this player do for you in the postseason? Paul George makes them really damn good in the playoffs if he's healthy. History tells us he's probably not.
It's fair. Back to the question at hand. Jared Vanderbilt. Does he start over Caruso?
I'd like Vanderbilt.
I think he probably.
I mean, you
starts.
want a guy
He
that's got the
does.
dog.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Can't
That's
shoot for
actually-
shit. But
Can't shoot. Oh yeah, can't shoot for shit. Hey, you could send him back a guy that can shoot for shit, Isaiah Joe, to make that trade work.
Mm-mm.
No,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
no.
No. I love Jared Vanderbilt like a lot. I don't love him as much as Isaiah Joe, I don't think.
wow, Vanderbilt's only 25. I did not realize that.
He's a great defender. Like he'd really, really make you good on that
The
end.
defense would be ridiculous.
I just don't know what on earth he provides you on offense.
I agree. And the contract is I mean, it's not like breaking the bank. It's 10.7, 11.5, 12.4, 13.3.
Super controllable. But I just like, again, in the playoffs, when you got to play guys, luckily Shea didn't like have a bad game in the playoffs, really. Like maybe one where it was like, oh, he's not himself. Those days will come. And if that day comes and Dub or Chet is also being double, triple teamed or schemed against, and all of a sudden the other two guys on the floor have to get buckets, it's just like Jared Vanderbilt will not be on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. That's why I questioned if he would start.
Yeah.
Any other names you guys want to throw out there?
Here's
Bobby
one from
P.
a super chat mentioned sarcastically. Trading everything for Anthony Davis, right, guys?
Yeah. Good old Colin Cowherd had a whole segment of pitching that trade, like J-Dub and Case.
That's how you know we're back when the
Oh, yeah.
Thunder are getting mentioned
Yeah.
in nonsense
Also,
like
just
that.
fair rule of thumb: don't listen to Colin Cowherd. We also got
Correct.
a super from Pat, who forgot to put the comment. And
No,
just sent the money.
I think Pat did earlier.
Oh, did I miss it?
Basically saying that they are from. Do you got
Alaska?
it, Silva? Yeah, Alaska. There it
Yeah.
is.
Hey, from
Love it.
Alaska. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Alaska.
pretty awesome.
Thank you for tuning in, Matt. First live or Pat. I said Matt. I meant Pat. Sorry. First live stream. That's dope. Thanks for tuning
No
in.
way.
Make Wednesday your second.
That is sick. Yeah,
Boom.
Pat, thank you for joining in. It's way
So
more
cool.
fun live, I promise.
We also have a comment from Nick Jordan. PG's coming back cheap. He planned this before he left. PG
Ultimate
taking the
scheming.
long con.
Hey, if that's the case, PG should be a GM.
PG,
Someday
we're
in the league.
restocking Lake Hefner with fish, my boy. Come home.
The funnest, maybe the best part for us of PG coming back would be he podcasts, so there would never be a shortage of things to talk about. PG said
That is
this,
true.
PG said that, PG brought this
Get him
guest
on the show.
We changed the schedule of this podcast to go live as soon as his podcast.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
there we go. I like that. Hey,
Yeah.
apparently, if you guys listen to Twitter, he's heading to Golden State. So
Oh, yeah. Hey, another exercise I want to do, and we're going to do this one real fast and without context, which will make it way more fun and get a lot more comments in the YouTube comment section.
Wonderful.
We're talking about these trades for a 4. Josh Giddey is gone. Like they already made that deal. And we all felt like that was kind of one of the bigger pieces they could trade. We're just going to round robin this thing. Who is most likely to be included in the next trade? Assuming that the big 4 are untouchable. The 3 and then Caruso, because they're not trading Caruso and they just got him. All right. We're just going to start left to right. We'll go JD, me, Justin, Taylor, and then Nick gets pick 5 and 6. And we'll snake it back real quick. No context. Just drop the name and we go. Most likely to get traded in the next deal.
we're picking these players, and so once they're off the board, we can no longer pick them. Or are we sharing
Correct.
our thoughts? Okay.
No thoughts.
I like that. I like that better.
0 thoughts, Taylor.
Well,
Turn
no,
your brain
I
off.
No thought. Only pick.
Stop thinking.
Ready? Isaiah Joe.
Damn it.
In
Aaron
the
Wiggins.
segment.
I want to provide context.
Kenrich?
So bad right now.
Oh, I'm glad you went Kenrich. I'm going Lou Dort.
Wow.
I just gotta
This will be
steal.
last on my list.
You guys left me an easy one here. Usman Jang.
That's fair.
And I'm going to snake it back with another young guy for a very different reason, because I think he's the big piece in a big trade is Casey Wallace.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh man, I'm trying to remember who else is Lindy
Who's
Waters.
Jay Will.
Lindy, J. Will. Is that it?
I mean, we've kind of
Man,
Wiggins.
reached the
we already
Sorry,
said
said
I
Wiggins.
took
Wiggins.
Wiggins too. Yep.
we've kind of reached the that part of the
The
We
pinnacle
reached
there.
the end already.
Ah.
Wow. Okay.
I got it. Whoever the Thunder select in this upcoming draft, so long as they don't trade that pick.
Did you just say Salon or so long?
Ah, well done. Some say saloon. Am I right,
thought he
Silva?
pronounced his name.
I say Salon, so we're gonna stick with that.
Vicini said saloon, though.
Okay,
I did my
Vicini
homework.
said saloon. That's great. Go listen to the
Remember
broadcast. They say salon.
365 days ago when we had the case on debacle.
Oh my gosh.
We could
I'm
have the
not doing it
saloon
again.
salon.
I'm
all
not
over
doing it again.
We still have Holmgren too. Like it's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our next break of the night. When we come back, we're actually going to talk some NBA draft, which is 3 days away. We'll be right back. And we are back. Gentlemen, I wanted a fun way to talk about the draft that wouldn't just be, who's the Thunder going to pick? What's your biggest hot take? Blah, 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 blah. We're doing over-unders. So I'm going to give one of you an over-under like bet, and you're going to tell us what your bet is and why. A lot of these are league-wide, and then we'll make some Thunder-specific predictions at the end of the segment. Sound good? Nicholas, you are the draft expert of the show. You're up.
Okay.
1.5 is the over-under. The bet is G League teammates who go in the top 12. Or G Leaguers who go in the top 12. The number is 1.5.
Over. So
Right.
Ron would be the one to slip, and I normally don't like feel angry about anything that happens with the Thunder. If Ron Holland's there at 12, and that's like the reason this bet, and Sam, who is obviously miles beyond me when it comes to scouting, if Ron Holland's there at 12 and he says, I'm good, I would be in my feels because I've still got Ron 3 on my board, and I think that would be absurd to pass on Ron. So
You
for
better
that
go
reason,
nuts on the live stream,
and you put the number at 12, probably intentionally, I would be shocked if you put past the Thunder.
Okay. Taylor, your turn. The over-under number is 2.5. The bet is centers who get selected in the lottery.
Oh, in the lottery. Ooh.
That would be top 14, buddy.
Yeah, that makes it
Let me give you
more
names,
interesting.
Taylor. You'd have
Sar, Klingon, potentially Edie,
Flip, Ware.
Flip, which I don't think so. Ware's, I mean, maybe. I like Ware a lot. I like Ware a lot. Yeah. Yeah, this is a great over-under, Jacob.
I know.
Jacob
this is
doesn't
like
know
Vegas.
this one.
He does.
This is like Vegas.
Never made a parlay in my life.
I am still going to go under, though.
You're
Because I think
basically
there's-
betting does Sar or does Ware go in the lottery or not? Is what you're betting on.
Or, yeah, right. One center other than Sar or Klingon go in the lottery. I'm going under because I think there's so much talent of really specifically the wings that I think it would really surprise me if there's an additional center that goes in the lottery, even in this draft. But man, that's
Ware.
That is
I
tough.
think Ware is going to be a Sacramento King at 13. So I'm
I
going to
wouldn't
go
mind
over
Ware in
Jacob.
OKC.
Not that it's my bet, but I feel good about this one.
Justin, you're next. The over-under is 1.5. The bet is 2024 NBA All-Stars who get traded on draft night. JD, do you have that list of All-Stars?
Yeah, you want me to read them?
Yeah, read them off real quick so Justin knows who we're dealing with.
Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Giannis, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Luka, Shea, Kevin Durant, LeBron, Jokic. And then it gets more interesting here. Brunson, Maxey, Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Paolo, Scotty Barnes, Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, Bam, Devin Booker, Steph, Ant, Paul George, Kawhi, Cat, Anthony Davis.
I think I'm going under. Mostly just playing the odds here. There could be transactions that transpire, but the odds of them going down on draft night with an all-star, it just feels like something that always gets theorized more than it actually happens.
Would your answer change?
Jimmy
if I
was the
changed
last
bet?
big one.
Yeah.
It's a good
Would your
point.
answer change if instead of saying on draft night, I said this offseason?
Yeah, probably. I'd be more comfortable taking the over on that.
Nice. Okay. Let's go with obviously it's JD's turn. JD, I'm giving you this one. The number is 1.5. The bet is teams that quote unquote blow it up and start their rebuild on draft night.
It's a fun
I mean,
one.
like we see like a clear direction.
Yeah. I'm refreshing myself on some of those teams that it could be. Over under is 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Go through the.
I
don't
can
read
give
all
you
30 teams, but
Yeah.
look at the list and tell us which ones you're kind of considering.
I think Atlanta is somewhat a candidate. You know, they could trade away Trey or DeJounte, maybe pivot to, I don't know if you consider that blowing it up if they keep one of them, but
I consider it. Yep.
Yeah.
Atlanta and Chicago were the two that came to mind for me. I think you're right.
Chicago's the big one. And then it's like,
There's nothing to
Toronto.
blow up in Detroit, right?
There's nothing they could blow up what's already there and it'd just be, yeah.
Smoot brings up Brooklyn is an interesting one.
Brooklyn's an interesting
It's a good one.
Don't have their picks. What's blowing it up going to do?
Get their
True.
picks back.
Is Utah an option? Do they count?
Yeah.
think they
If
count.
they were to
if they
trade
trade-
Lowry, then definitely blowing it up.
Okay, well, I'm taking the
Yep.
over.
Oh,
Taking the over.
Okay. Nice.
Pick I think more than one team's going to pick a direction, and that direction's going to be down.
They're either gonna shit or get off the pot, right?
Yep.
And in this case, they're shitting.
Thanks, Silva.
You're welcome.
can you write that down on the notepad for us?
Yes.
I want to see the notepad at the end of the show, JD.
Okay.
Nick,
Whiteboard next week.
the number is 2.5. The bet is French players who get drafted in the top 8.
It's French by descent, not playing in French leagues. Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's super easy.
I'm gonna go under because I don't think Salon goes top 8. I think he's pretty firm. San Antonio is a wild card because they could take him 8. But I think if San Antonio passes, he's very much locked into 10, 11, 12. So I'm gonna take the under.
Okay. Interesting. Taylor,
I
you're
agree
back
with
up.
that.
Taylor, your number is 1.5. Your bet is UConn players who go in the top 5 of the draft.
Oh, this is another great one. I'm going to go ahead and say over because I think Klingon will go top 5. There's enough interest there. I think somebody will trade up even if he's not selected by a team. And so somebody will trade up and select him in the top 5. And then Steph Castle is just too great of a prospect, too great of a player, I think, for him not to go top 5 in this draft. That's kind of a personal bias. So I'm going to take the over here. I think Steph Castle and Klingon are the two obvious names, but yeah, they'll go top 5, each of them.
All right. Justin, the number is 3.5. The bet is 2024 lottery picks that get traded. For reference, last year there was 4. I think 6 and 7 were swapped, or was it 7 and 8? And then 10 and 12 were swapped.
And that was high, right? I feel like we asked this question last year, and that
Probably did. I don't remember. It's been 365 days.
because I think, yeah, the catch is right when you switch 2 of them like that. I guess that counts for 2 lottery picks that get moved.
True.
I'm gonna go under again. It feels like something that people talk about happening a lot more than it happens. Kind of like my last question, especially in a draft like this where there's not a super clear cut. I think yes, you could maybe float back and take on an asset or something to try and still get your guy, but I think the opposite ends up happening where you just take your pick, right? You just grab the guy you want when you're on the clock.
I like it. We are over to JD. JD, your number is 0.5. Your bet, teams that end up, an additional team that ends up with 2 lottery picks. For reference, the Spurs currently have 2. The Blazers currently have 2. So you are betting over or under that 0.5 additional teams end up with 2 lottery picks.
Keep in mind, you could also, there's a chance that one of those 2 teams trades, consolidates, or trades up or out.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a negative, Silva, just saying.
It would. Interesting. So this is, I'm trying to like calculate this right now. It's Sunday night, you know.
I was told there would be no math.
I was told there'd be no math. I'm gonna kind of take the under here. I think everyone's, yeah. I think if you're gonna take multiple picks in a draft, maybe this is not the one to do so. Like if Atlanta trades back from 1, I think they get a pick in this draft, maybe a good pick in the next draft also, instead of getting 2 here.
All right. Nick, your number is 1.5. Your bet is Colorado players who go in the lottery.
Under.
Oh,
That's pretty easy. 0.5 Colorado picks that go in the lottery.
Over.
Okay.
I think De Silva will be right outside. Just right outside.
Okay.
I like that Lakers range. Lakers, maybe Sixers. We'll see. Magic.
Need some shooting. Yeah.
Taylor, your number is 0.5. Your bet, sons of LeBron James that are selected in the top 45 picks.
Top 45. Let's see. I legitimately do not know where the Lakers are selecting in the second round. So wherever they're selecting would probably be my answer.
Third to last.
I think they're in like the 50s. Is that right? So I'll go under.
Okay.
I think he doesn't get selected until Suns or Lakers.
Wait,
Justin.
Wait. Tell me. Wait.
Or is it over? I don't know.
You think he'll be
I think he goes
before
lower
or after that 45 number?
After.
Okay.
Wherever the Lakers are picking.
You said under, brother. I'm just saying.
Justin, Thunder Chick submitted one. Over under number is 4.5. Number of curse words uttered on air the moment of the Thunder pick.
I'm going under unless something chaotic happens. And then it'll be over.
Like trading 3 firsts for Usman Jang.
Right. Uh-huh.
Drafting Zach Edey.
We also need to know what constitutes a curse word.
Would you
Define
get
a
in,
curse word.
would you
Let's
get in
list
trouble
it in a
saying
way.
it?
Let's do a snake
you-
draft.
No.
that
Would you get in trouble saying it in front of your students back when you were teaching if your principal's in the room?
Wow.
Oh,
I think that
dag
shortens the
nabbit.
list.
Yeah, shortens the
Dag
list.
nabbit. It's a good one. Last one, JD. Your over-under number is 0.5. Your bet, Paul Malls that I slam if the Thunder draft Edey.
Over, and I'll join you.
Oh,
Tendy,
Splitting the pack.
Dave's hot Tendy in one hand, Paul Mall in the other.
I'll be on record. Assuming it's a trade back, I'll be very excited if it's Zach Edey.
If it's draft Edey.
If it's Zach Edey,
Shaq Edey.
he is the focal point of Summer League. He is
That
content
is true.
heaven.
That
And
is so true.
I know he gets trolled, but like it's a non-zero chance that he actually is a very helpful NBA player. Not a superstar. Got a lot of deficiencies. This is not a bad chance. He's actually really, really important in a playoff series one day at his size.
If he can stay on the floor.
Let's make
Think
some
he-
Thunder
I think he
predictions
can.
and get out of here, guys. We also have 666 viewers in the live stream. Don't know if that's a bad thing or
Give us
not.
one more.
just
Oh, there we
leaving
go.
whoever
One
that
more
was.
and one less, and we got one less. We'll take it.
Someone heard that and hit the X as soon as they did.
Just closed it out.
Out.
That was actually the human sacrifice.
All right, here we go. Thunder prediction number 1. Do they stay put, trade up, trade down, trade out? You got 4 options. Silva, which one are you taking?
Trade up.
Justin.
Trade up.
Taylor.
I'm team trade down.
Nick.
Stay put.
I'll take trade out. Next. Who is the pick?
You want me to go first again?
JD, you're up. No. We're going in reverse. So I am first. I already said they would trade out, but if they stay put, if they make a pick, I'm going Cody. Nick?
This is like
I know.
no matter
The
what
long
happens.
sigh.
I know.
Yeah, who do you think they leave with the draft? Leave with
Trade
at
up,
the
trade
draft.
out, trade up, down, or stay put.
Yeah, whatever.
Right?
Who do you think
Based
they get
off
in the
what we
draft?
picked. You said stay put, so you're in a pretty good position here.
But I don't know if that's actually going to do.
Yep.
It doesn't
Just
matter.
Should have made Nick go last.
Give me Keyshawn George.
Taylor.
Like that one. Ah, damn it, Nick. If the Thunder were trading back, I'd like George. Or that would be my guess. But another one there would be Bub Carrington if they're trading back. So give me Bub. Carlton Carrington. What a name.
Justin.
I'm doubling down on Deron Holmes.
I love it. JD.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to boo Zealous.
You're a
If
big
they got
trade-up
Bruce
guy.
Ellis, I would lose my mind. That'd be awesome.
He's sick. He's dope.
That could be a player that Nick alluded to that would start over a Alex Caruso potentially, just based off.
I don't think he'd start day 1. I think he'd start game
Eventually.
82.
Day 2.
Game 82, I think he would be in starting lineup. I don't think he'd be in starting lineup day 1. He's really damn good, though.
Yep. So is Holland.
God, they got
That's all I
Holland.
got.
I'm not joining the
Me
live stream
too.
if they get Holland because I'm going to be speaking irrationally.
In tongues.
Wouldn't go that far.
Why we have 666 viewers in the stream.
Having a seizure.
And Nick speaking in tongues. JD, will you pump that outro music, please?
Whoop.
That's wrong.
That's
Hey.
Is this one?
For
All right.
Josh Giddey. I wish Taylor was taking a drink right there. Another spit take would have been
Spit
nice.
take.
Hey, before we leave,
A hot tour.
Easy.
before we get out of here, real fast, your one non-Thunder prediction for draft night, JD.
Bronny goes first round.
Taylor?
Oh man, I was hoping you want to go to me next.
Say it.
Alex or pick 2. That's an easy one.
Justin?
Zach Edey in the lottery for some reason.
Nick?
I think. Oh my goodness. Ryan Dunn ends up being an all-rookie team, and that's like future, but it still counts for this exercise. Yeah.
Sure.
Ryan Dunn is the Herb Jones of this class. Unreal defender, and he's going to be awesome, even though he might go second round.
Surprise trade up. Someone goes top 3 to get Steph Castle.
I love that one.
Taylor, you got a super chat.
I do have a super
How
super
does it,
chat.
how
Shout
does
out.
it feel to no longer have Giddey slander? Asked Nick Jordan.
I feel relieved, like a burden has been lifted off my chest. No, hey, like I said, my second tweet after the trade was that I love the fit for Giddey. I'm rooting for him. I think he's going to be awesome in Chicago.
Because his first tweet was good riddance, you son of a gun. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Uncontested Podcast. Make your plans. Join us Wednesday for the draft live stream, 4th annual. JD, can you throw up the QR code again while I talk? Enter into our mock draft contest to win prizes. We'll send you an uncontested swag pack if you win. Regardless of where you will be at for the draft, if it's at home, if it's on the road, if it's at a bar, wherever, pull up the YouTube stream. Hang out with us as we react to all the picks live. including all the trades. It is going to be a great time. We'll get started about 30 minutes before the draft officially kicks off. Can't wait to see you guys there. It's one of the best nights of the year for us. We have a blast. So we will see you guys Wednesday night. Enjoy all the slop between now and then. And we'll see you in 3 days. Until then, and as always, thunder up.